Hey guys, it's Kid here with Life Mundane, and today we're going to take you on a day in the life with us. We're going to show you guys what our school day looks like from beginning to end, and it's already 9 o'clock, which means it's time to get started, and today's already proving to be a little bit different. We're supposed to have tutoring today, but that's going to look a little different because their family has a little bit of sickness today, so we're going to just be winging it, doing something different, maybe trying a Zoom call, maybe just doing kind of homework stuff. We're not exactly sure, but you guys get to join us and find out. So let's get started. So the first thing that's up for today is we're gonna get started with our morning basket time. Guys, grab your head. 2:16.
Wait, it's going?
Guys, stop. Yeah, please stop it.
Oh, no! Yeah!
Okay, can you sit down, kids?
Hey guys,
Okay.
I'm gonna be on TV.
Alright, ready? 2:16. When you're there, let me know.
I'm there. I'm there.
Alright, ready?
So the first part of our morning time is starting with a hymn. We sing that hymn for an entire month. So this month it's Crown Him with Many Crowns.
Crown him with many crowns, the lamb upon his throne is Bible. Okay, what do? When we're reading Bible, we right? And we sit up straight, right? We don't play with toys. Okay? We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God and take every thought captive to obey Christ. Christians are not fighting against people. You hear that? We don't fight against people. Who are we fighting against? Satan, yes. We're fighting against Satan. We fight against false ideas and attitudes that rebel against Jesus.
So you'll notice here that my daughter is dancing around. The older kids realize that I expect them to sit still and to be quiet. The little ones are allowed a little bit different behavior. They are allowed to move around, but they do know they still need to be quiet. So she is dancing around, but she is not making noise with her mouth or making too much disruption. So we allow that until a certain age, and then they'll be expected to sit down quietly as well.
For whom did Christ obey and suffer? For what kind of life did Christ live on earth? Life.
All right, so next is Bible memory work. We will go over it as a group, and then each kid will take a turn saying out loud to me.
Genesis 1:27. So God created in his in the
image of God,
he
created them.
male.
And female, he created.
Good job.
The next part of our day is our World Watch News, which is my kids' one of their most favorite parts. They love to hear about the news that's going on for the day, and then we all take turns sharing what our favorite part of the news was for that day.
And this is... Protesters. It's time to say goodbye to 200 Coca-Cola beverages. The company announced plans to discontinue half of their brands. Odd names like Adwala and Zico.
Rachel, what was your favorite story?
My favorite part was
The what?
it's hard to say.
Oh, the Monopoly?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. What was yours?
Squid robot.
Okay. All right. Next.
I think, this guy made I collected tires that a straw from a rope, which was bad. So he was recycling them by making them into furniture.
Awesome. All right.
The camel race.
All right, so now we have done our Bible and our well-watched news. Next in our morning basket is to do our reading. We are finishing up the Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. It has taken a little bit longer. It's actually not that many chapters. We usually do a chapter a day, but these chapters are heavier topics and also just a little bit longer. So we've been doing about a half a chapter a day. Yes, I know you love them. We've been doing about a half a chapter a day. So we are going to go in and read our half a chapter, and then we're gonna move on to science. So we alternate science and history. So one day we do science, the next day we do history, and today was our day to do science, learning about the earth and explaining to the kids that we are going to start a project where they're going to be doing an advertisement for Earth. So they're taking notes as they're listening so that they can be ready to make their advertisement. Once all of this is done, we do announcements at the end of the day to talk about what the day is going to look like. Okay, so after we kind of go over what the day is going to look like, then it's time to break up into our individual works. So 2 of them will go and work on computers or tablets to work on their independent work. This is their math. They have extra math that they do for working on math facts. They will work on, what else will they work on? They will work on typing, and there's something else, I'm missing it. But anyways, they work on those things. Oh, and then they'll work on cognitive stuff, which is brain training exercises to help with their cognitive development. So then I'll work with her on math while my other son is working on reading a chapter in his read aloud book, and while the babies are at the table working on some stuff. So let's go check it out. Hey, girls, what did you do? What have you been doing while we were doing school? Gluing paper? What are you gluing paper to? Come here. Do we glue paper to walls? No, can you please take it down? I understand you want it to be pretty, but we can hang it on the fridge, but we don't need to glue it to our wall.
She's doing the same thing.
Thankfully, it's just stick glue, so it comes off. But, oh my goodness, you seriously glued it to my wall. Anybody else have homeschool days like this? For us to do our math. Okay, Charlie counted out all of his coins for his friends. Help Charlie make a list of the amounts of money for each kind of coin that he has. Write it both ways. So here's a little peek into what the Cognifit looks like. It's a whole bunch of different online activities that help work on their cognitive function. This is working on their spatial awareness. He has to try and keep the cursor in the middle of the circle. If he gets off, then he loses points. It's super helpful, and I can't wait to show a full review of that. And another favorite for our toddlers is popsicle sticks and pom-poms. I've done a whole video on activities for your toddlers. If you want to see it, check it out up in the link above. Hey, are you drinking out of my water? Give that to me, silly. And yes, when you give your toddlers pom-poms, this is what the floor looks like afterwards. But it's okay. It's a temporary trade-out for some quiet. All right, so we're gonna read Apple Trouble, and we're going on a leaf hunt. Okay, Apple Trouble by Richard Scammell. Hedgehog had just finished building her winter nest under the old apple tree. Not too large, not too small. Can you show me large? Show me large. Whoa! Okay, show me small. Good job. Just right for a nice long winter sleep. Nope, pick up some more. You gotta clean up what's on the floor. And then you could have a snack. Okay, so now that the littles are done with their stuff, they are having a snack in the kitchen on the floor. And a picnic? Yeah. And now I'm ready to move on to what we call our power hour with my son. Okay, so have you ever heard the saying, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse?
Yes, but I'm so hungry I could eat a flat.
A person probably could not eat a whole horse, even if he wanted to. That type of exaggeration is called a hyperbole. What's it called? Writers often use hyperbole to create emphasis to make something sound funny. In this activity, you'll read more hyperbole. So you're going to read one, and you're going to figure out which picture it matches up with, okay? So I'm going to lay out all the pictures, and you're going to read it and find out which one it matches with. All right, I've got my car cookie from my daughter. Thank you so much. It's very yummy. All right, and now we're going to read about hyperboles. Let's go. Yep, match it up.
The only one that has a cat.
There you go. Next one. Okay, so we do fix-it grammar. So he just takes one sentence a day and he will correct it. So right now he's looking for if it needs to be indented, end marks, quotation marks. He's gonna mark all the nouns, articles, and pronouns. He'll fix it all, I'll check it, and then once he has it complete, he will add it to his story. He's actually writing this whole story. There's several that he's done before where he's writing this whole story. So he'll have written an entire book with all of the corrections made. So go ahead and start correcting your work. All right, find your noun. What are you doing? You're making some batter?
Well, we're trying to.
Okay. So the best part about this curriculum is they have an answer guide and they actually tell me what the different issues are. So soldier is a possessive noun, but marking them at this level is not required. Possessive nouns are nouns that function as adjectives. Some grammar programs call them adjectives, some call them nouns. Fortunately, it does not really matter because it will not affect punctuation or grammar, so long as the student recognizes a possessive noun is needed for the apostrophe. So you're fine to mark it as a noun, but there's one other noun you're missing, and that is turn.
What? Turn is not a noun.
1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns, a turn, the turn. Some students may think of turns as a verb. Remind them that some words can function as more than one part of speech. No one is turning, so it's not used as a verb, but a noun here. So I love that they explain all this, because otherwise I would be super lost. What are we doing next, spelling or writing?
Writing.
Okay, let's do writing. Grab your notebook. All right, so for reading, we yesterday spent time making the outline for this story. If you're not familiar with IEW, it's really unique in that you write from other people's writings is how you start. So we underlined the 3 most important words. Symbols and numbers are free, but the 3 most important words in each sentence. Now today he's gonna take this outline and he's actually going to now reverse it back and actually turn it into written words. So we're gonna hide this. He's gonna have just this to reference, and he's going to, he's already done this verbally, putting it into sentence, and now he's going to write it and turn it into a paragraph about Pilot. All right, and since he can do that somewhat independently, then I'm going to see if the other 2 need any help on their independent work. Now, sometimes with the writing, we will, I will have him dictate his sentences and I'll write them down. Other times he does the writing, we just kind of gauge it by the day. We are doing the places and communities, which is technically geared towards 1st and 2nd grade because we were originally doing it with all of the kids and I was just gonna have the older kids do a little bit more and it's really adaptable that way. However, because the other kids are all doing tutoring, we ditched it for all the other kids. So I asked him if he wanted to stay with this one or if he wanted to move up to the level A, structure and style writing, which he totally could do, and he decided he'd rather just stick with this one since we started it and go all the way through it, and we can just go through it a little bit faster and he can do a little bit more of the work to make it tough enough for him, to challenge him and to help him grow in his writing. And then after we finish that, we'll go into the level A writing. It's not a real big deal. They teach the same concepts. It's just a lot easier source text and it takes it a little bit more gently. So in the first several lessons, they're actually not writing paragraphs. They're just verbally retelling you the story from the outline and things like that. So anyways, this is just how we're doing it and we'll see how it goes. But does anybody need help? Okay, so let's help. Okay, so let's see. Wes has 231 rocks in his collection. Paul has 379 rocks in his collection. Tell which problem below shows the best way to estimate the total number of rocks that the boys have. You're right, so we do need to round to estimate in this way. So with 231, are we gonna round up or down? Okay, and 379, are we gonna round up or down?
Up, which makes it 400.
Yeah, so it's gonna be 200 plus 400. Yep. There you go. Good job. So they do teaching textbooks on the computer. It's amazing. It reads all the questions to them. She's just wearing headphones, which is why you couldn't hear it. And it walks them through. It teaches the lessons. It grades it for them. And if they get it wrong, it will give them another chance and give them little hints. And then if they get it completely wrong after the second time of trying, it will correct it for them. And explain to them how that it was supposed to be worked correctly. So.
And there's little videos that say stuff.
Yes, and we're doing the online version. So they love the fact that there's little buddies that say stuff, and they have tons and tons of ones. We cannot wait for the 4.0 version to come out. We will be doing.
Do it on video.
Yes, we will be doing a big video when that comes out, when the 4.0 version comes out of teaching textbooks, because they have all sorts of awesome features that are coming up. Things like getting to unlock new buddies after you've gone through so many lessons. Getting to have like your scratch paper in the actual program, getting to do it on your tablet and devices like that. So many cool things, getting to do it offline. We're really excited about 4.0, aren't we?
Yeah. Plus, then when these get lost, we don't have to find them again.
Yeah, because it'll all be in the program. So we're very, very excited about 4.0. Cannot wait for it to come out, and we will be sure to update you guys as soon as it does with all the cool features that are in it. Also, I should say, just like we had babies pick up their stuff afterwards, he has his stack of stuff that he brings to Power Hour, which are all of his student books, and I have my stack, which are all my teacher books. So when we are done, we both go clean those up, just so we can keep the table from being like a full-on dumping ground, because I have definitely lived those years where the dining room table is never available for meals because it's just always covered in school stuff. So we really try for the most part to pick up stuff between each thing. Now, we have a few things obviously from earlier with the littles, but I will pick those up during this time too. All right, lunch is ready. We've got carrots and chicken nuggets. I thought I had mac and cheese to do too, but I don't. We are going to read Wonderful. We read a psalm out of this every single day at lunch. It is written by Marty Mikowski, the same author who wrote the theology book, but this one is just going through a different chapter in the book of Psalms each and every day. So let me show you guys what this looks like. So in verse 7 and 9, it said, "I will tell of all my decrees, the Lord said to me. You are my son today, I have begotten you. Ask for me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron, and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel." Yes.
There's an extra one.
You can eat it.
No.
There's more chicken nuggets in there for everybody. All right, Psalms 2 looks far ahead to the future with great joy. A day when God would send his son to be born on earth. But along with this great joy comes great sadness, for many people on the earth will turn against him. So normally we would stop, we would be pretty much done for the day. After we've done our lunchtime reading, we would just go on to tutoring. And the way that tutoring works is that my oldest and my oldest son and my oldest daughter would be with the tutor upstairs. And I would take my youngest school-age daughter right here, and I would take my oldest preschooler, and we would go down to the basement with some of my tutor's kids, and I would work with the little kids while she's working with the two older ones. And so oftentimes that's how that would end up working out. We would meet for an hour, and they would go over everything and cover everything language arts-wise that both younger kids needed and the older kids needed for an hour. So that is typically what we do, but we were hoping maybe to meet with our tutor online. They had some sick people in their home, some sick kiddos in their home, and so we were hoping maybe we could meet online anyways, but now she's not feeling great. So we are not going to meet on Zoom today, and instead I'm just gonna work with the kids a little bit on a few different exercises that we can do here at home, and we will just do it another day, and that's okay. That's part of homeschooling. We love the flexibility of it, and it's a really cold, rainy, nasty day, so we're probably not gonna do outside time today. So maybe we'll take the opportunity to do some podcasts and have fun. If you guys haven't checked it out, on Wednesday, I actually put out a video on 15 of our favorite kid podcasts. You guys can check that out, but I think we're going to try and listen to some of the Luther podcasts to catch up for Reformation Week. And I'm excited to do that with the kiddos. So we're gonna head to do that.